Hi guys, so let's chat, let's catch up. I just feel like I needed to sit down and film a catch-up video. I don't know, I think just the need to do this occasionally strikes. You just feel like things are getting a little bit on top of you and there's just a few different things that I want to talk about that don't necessarily fit into one specific video. So I thought I would get my cup of tea, lemon and ginger, trying to head off a bit of a sore throat, and just chat to you all about all the different things that are on my mind and that you might be interested in, that might be relevant to this channel or other online content, etc, etc, even just a little bit of a life update, because I know you guys care and always ask really nice questions. So I am just going to chat, basically. Was that introduction clear? No, probably not. So where to start? Well, I'm in Edinburgh just now, as you can tell, visiting my mum, but a few days ago I was actually in Leicester at the Classical Association 2018 conference. So the Classical Association is like a large body related to the study of classics and ancient history, and they host the largest classics and ancient history related conference in the UK every year, and each year it is held in a different place in collaboration with different universities, and I've been to one previously in Kent and this is my second year going, and like I mentioned, this year it was in Leicester. Never actually been to Leicester before, so that was my first introduction to the city, although I spent most of my time obviously in the university doing classics related stuff. Now this wasn't just an ordinary conference trip for me. I wasn't just there to listen to other people, I was actually there to present my own paper, to present my own research to a ton of people I didn't know. So the conference itself had almost 500 delegates there, and I gave a paper which had about 25 people in the audience, which I felt like was a pretty good turnout. So the way it works is that there are panels, and each panel has 3 to 4 papers being delivered on a similar topic by different people. Each paper is 20 minutes with some time for questions afterwards, and then there will be 9 panels running concurrently, so people can choose which panel they want to go to depending on what they're interested in. I was speaking on the Saturday in the Rape Narratives panel, so I was speaking alongside 3 other scholars and PhD students, giving papers on the topic of sexual violence, and as was mine, obviously. Why would it be in that panel otherwise? My paper was called Demosthenes' Nightingale. Understanding Demosthenes' use of the Procnean Philomela myth in the context of attitudes towards sexual violence in classical Athens, or democratic Athens, something along those lines. The title is not that important, but this was my first time presenting a paper at a big conference like that. I've given 2 papers in the past, but both have been at my university. So this is my first time giving a paper to an audience of almost entirely strangers, although a couple of the people in the audience were fellow PhD students that I knew, which was really nice, and it was my first time at like a different in a different environment at a different university, and it was intense in the build-up, but I feel like it went really well, and I wanted to mention it because it was one of my 2018 goals, was to give a paper at a big conference, and I'm really glad I did that. And I've had some interest from you about doing a whole video on presenting papers, my experience giving a paper at a conference, writing, presenting, all of that kind of stuff, and I feel like I would definitely like to do that now that I have had that big experience. I feel like I've definitely got a lot of things to say about the conference environment and presenting a paper and things like that. So if you'd like to see that, let me know. I will hopefully get to that very soon. I would like to do it whilst the memory is still very fresh in my mind. I also plan on doing a halfway point update on my PhD, but I'm not quite at the halfway point. I'll be at the halfway point around June, so around then I will film a video doing my experience of studying a PhD at the halfway point. I did a sort of 1-year update, which you can watch if you're interested in seeing where I was then. That was filmed almost a year ago now. Probably lastly, I'd also like to briefly mention something else related to classics. My studies, just for those of you that are interested whilst we're talking about it, I'm now one of the editorial team for NEO, the Classic Students Journal, which is an academic peer-reviewed journal, so it's very official, very proper. We have a board of reviewers who are experts in their academic field to review the articles, and we're currently open for submissions for our 2nd issue. So we're particularly interested in publishing student and early career classicists and ancient historians. So if you are currently studying or have studied recently in the fields of classics or ancient history and are looking to get published, or you are looking to write more articles, then please do check Neo out. I will link the link down in the description box where you can get a lot more info. I know I definitely have some subscribers that are in those fields, so I wanted to let you guys know. On the more YouTube side of things, I have given my Patreon page a bit of a revamp. So previously on Patreon I was going very simple. I wasn't really offering any rewards, and I've now kind of changed that. So there's a few new things available to those of you who are interested in becoming patrons of my Patreon page. So if you're not familiar, Patreon is a website which creators can sign up to, doesn't matter what you're creating. And it's essentially a way for people who are interested in what you're creating, who are invested in what you're creating, who want to help support what you're creating, and donate a little bit of money to help support those endeavours. I think the best way I've seen people describe it is as a tip jar, which I think is really nice. So I do have a Patreon page. I've had it for a long time, and some of you are already Patreons, and you all make a massive difference to the ease with which I can spend time creating content for you all in different ways. But I have updated the page, so there's now 4 tiers. The first one is the simple, if you just want to donate like $1 a month, it's just the simple, you don't have to get involved in anything else, but you will have access to my Patreon only feed, which is just a like feed where I sometimes like post little bits and pieces. I'm going to try and be more active on there, posting kind of behind the scenes stuff and polls and chatting with you all. So you get access to that. There's now a $2 tier, which is the book club. I mentioned this at the beginning of the year that I would like to start a Patreon book club, because I thought that was quite a nice thing to be able to do, to interact with those of you who are interested in being patrons. And it's a bi-monthly book club which will be running throughout the year and onwards. The first book will be in May, June. We haven't picked that book yet, but there will be a poll on my Patreon for those of you who are interested in joining the book club, where we can pick the book together. The plan is then at the end of the second month I will film a live stream for Patreon only, so that those of you who are signed up to that reward can watch the live stream, chat with me about the book, ask questions about the book. I can give you my in-depth review and thoughts, and it'll just be our little book club. So I'm hoping you all enjoy that. A few of you have already signed up, so I'm really excited to start the first book with you. There's then 2 further rewards that are slightly higher if you're interested. If you want to see what the rewards are, I will link my Patreon down below, but I feel like I've given it a bit of a rejig. I'm pleased with kind of the changes I've made, and I'm looking forward to it being more of an interactive experience, Patreon, because honestly the support is incredible. I cannot express to you how much of a difference it makes. Even those of you that are donating $1 a month, you might not realise it, but it really does make a difference, especially with some of the new things I'm trying to do. So something else I have been working on and is coming very, very soon is my podcast. So I've mentioned this a couple of times as well. I am starting a classics and ancient history podcast, which will be for a general audience. So the plan is that this is classics and ancient history, but it is not for academics solely. It's for people at all different levels, all different interests, that they can get exposure to different classics and ancient history topics, and that includes ancient history in the truest sense. There's going to be some episodes on specific gods, for example. There's going to be an episode entirely on Dionysus, but lots of episodes also on classics today, classical reception, so there'll be episodes on classics in cinema, as well as current projects that are going on that I know people who are involved with that are using classics, myth or ancient history as a part of those projects. So lots of different things there. Anything with a loose tie to classics and ancient history I want to explore, and I want to talk about with other people. So every episode will be me and somebody else talking about classics or ancient history related subject, and that will be coming to you in June. I will do a whole video announcing it when it's live and sharing more details about the first season and what episodes are coming up. But just know it is happening. I even have the microphone now. Look at this. I wanted to share this with you. This is the Yeti Blue microphone. It's so much bigger than I was expecting it to be. Look, it's the size of my head. I have had this sitting in my Amazon basket for ages, knowing I wanted to buy it as soon as I was ready to start recording the podcast so that I could have some proper equipment, and I'd heard amazing reviews about them. I think this is like the podcast microphone for other people that I know who make podcasts. And like I said, sitting in my Amazon basket for ages, and then suddenly it was £30 off, so I bought it, obviously. I was planning on buying it anyway, and I was like, oh, today is the day, there's £30 off of it, so I'm definitely buying it now. And I'm loving it. It just feels so professional. How good is this? I can't wait to use it. But obviously with things like that, buying the microphone, paying to host the podcast, Patreon, again, like I said, makes a big difference to my general ability to make different content for you online. And yeah, so thank you so much. And even those of you that I know don't have the money to donate, that's absolutely fine. I appreciate you all equally. I just filmed another video actually, which was an unhaul, which you've probably already seen. And I did mention this already in that, so sorry to be a broken record. I did want to mention again that there is a bell button beneath all of these videos if you're already subscribed, which you can click on, and if you click on that you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. I only flagged this up again because I have had more people tweeting me, messaging me recently saying they've missed videos I've uploaded, that they've seen a video I've tweeted about and said, oh, I didn't see that in my subscription feed. And I'm the same. I've been missing videos of people I'm subscribed to. The YouTube subscription feed is not functioning to what I would consider its optimum. A lot of people have been complaining about this, but yeah, there's a good chance you're missing some people's videos. I definitely am. So clicking that notification bell is just a way to make sure you don't miss any, because obviously I do put a lot of work into my content, and I don't want those of you who want to watch it to miss it. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine, but it's a shame when people who do want to watch it are missing out. So just a little reminder, sorry to be one of those people. I know everybody's been saying this recently, but yeah, it does make a big difference. Going back to my goals for 2018, given that I've mentioned the podcast and the paper, which were both on there, I'm actually so pleased with how I'm doing with my 2018 goals. I made a list of 18 things I wanted to do in 2018 back at the beginning of the year, which weren't supposed to be sort of life changes or resolutions, but were simply meant to be things that I would like to do, that I would genuinely enjoy, like going to a certain museum, and would be things I could, you know, sort of work towards doing during the year, and would be things that when I wasn't having such a good time could remind myself, oh, there's that thing you wanted to do that. Kind of to brighten my life up a little bit, and I have done quite a few things off the list already and I've enjoyed them all. So if you'd like to see a video where I talk about my progress with my 2018 goals in more depth, let me know and I will do that and let you know more details and how all those things have been going. I would, yeah, love to chat about them. I have been obviously really trying to focus on things like finding joy and my mental health this year. But it's not a consistent process. I don't know, is that the right terminology? It's hard. Like, I have had so many wonderful things this year, so many wonderful moments and things to enjoy and people that I've spent wonderful time with. And progress that I've made on certain things, not to minimise those, but I've also spent a lot of time feeling really upset this year, which is a given, and that's just what dealing with grief is like. And I think it's important to talk about it because it's important to know that it is like rolling hills. It's not just this, it's not just you feel bad and then you just get better and better and better if you do the right stuff. It's a natural emotional process, which means feeling good and feeling rubbish again, feeling good, feeling rubbish again, and just learning to deal with those emotions in your life and getting better at handling them. But it's still all very fresh with me. It's not even been half a year since I lost my dad, and it's really hard, and there are still days where I literally just spend the whole day in bed really sad and crying, and that's okay. And I know when I've talked about this on Instagram stories, people have said they've really appreciated that kind of honesty, and or if they've gone through similar things and they think it's good to talk about those things, and I agree, so that's why I'm talking about it here. Yeah, so it has been an up and down year so far, but I'm so grateful for all of the wonderful people that I do have in my life and all the wonderful things I've got to do in my life. But it's hard, and it's hard with all of that sadness and all that grief and really missing my dad every day. Like, reminding myself that I don't have to be constantly productive, but at the same time still needing to do the things I need to do. Obviously I'm doing my PhD and that's a lot of work, and I've got lots of other commitments to do with things to do with work and YouTube, which I all love and I'm happy to be doing, but it's finding that balance where all those things don't fall apart, but I also take the time to take care of myself and allow myself to grieve. So I've just been trying to find a balance all year and go with my emotions and let my body tell me what I need to do. So yeah, that's kind of how 2018's been going for me so far. And I just wanted to chat a little bit, have a little bit of a casual discussion, keep you up to date on things that were going on. Just to change topics slightly before I click the camera off. Oh, it's been over 20 minutes already. I've been doing a lot of creative writing this year, which I'm really pleased with. It was also a bit of a goal. So I've been doing a lot of creative writing. I've done random little almost writing exercises where I've written little poems or flash fiction or short stories where they've just been kind of exercising my writing muscles. And I've also been working on my novel, which I've been trying to write for a while. I started it a while ago, took some time off naturally, and I'm kind of back on it. It's a retelling of a Greek myth, but I don't want to give away what one it is yet, because I'd really like to finish it. That would be really nice. I really enjoy writing it and sort of bringing that myth to life in a new way. I don't know if new is the right word, but yeah, so I've been really enjoying writing. I need to consider maybe sharing some of the little bits of kind of practice writing that I've been doing online somehow, so if you'd be interested in that, let me know. But I've been enjoying doing that, and there's something so wonderful going back to something that you've found so much joy in the past but maybe let slip because of other things taking precedence. So I've been rediscovering that love, and that's been wonderful. But I think I've covered everything. I think I've probably rambled on for far too long about absolute nonsense, and many of you have clicked off by now, so well done if you hung around till the end. I'm gonna go now. Do leave any comments on anything I've said in this video down below. I would love to chat with you. I feel so privileged to be a part of a community like this where I can engage with you all. It's really wonderful. So until next time guys, happy reading, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!